Welcome to the Visness Cardholder Business Spotlight, where we have a casual chat with our cardholders, get to know them a little better, learn about their businesses, and what they have to offer you, the consumer or the business-to-business client. I'm Barry Donovan, your host, and today we have Donna Deteau. Donna, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Barry.
You're welcome. How you doing this Friday the 13th?
It is. I forgot about that. Doing great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to run a black cat in front of you this morning.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so our format, Donna, is pretty casual. We're going to just ask you to introduce yourself, share with us a little bit about your business, and maybe wrap up with a tip or two about how people should look to a person in your field if they're looking for them. I'm not going to tell them what you do yet. You're going to do that. And then we're done. So quick 10, 12 minute chat. So Donna, let's get started by telling everybody, what you do and what your business is.
I'm a business coach. Recently, my whole approach to coaching changed because what I used to coach with was just this toolbox of business building tools, and very effective because those tools were designed or are designed to help entrepreneurs get well into six figures in a short amount of time, much shorter than they can do it on their own. And I realized that things were missing from my content, from my curriculum. So I incorporated another program called Thinking into Results, which is all about mindset, about how we think and what we think about. And I have to tell you, Barry, that has revolutionized my life and my client's life, because now I see that the results that we get come from our mindset. 95% of our results come from our mindset. And so that's, excuse me, that's how my content, my curriculum has changed just in the past 12 months. Is that clear? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. They say in sports that it's, 90% mental, 10% talent. And so why wouldn't it transfer to business?
Exactly.
Total sense. Yeah.
I love the example of a lot of the brain, the mind, scientists, the researchers, they do a lot of experiments on sports figures. Right. And they did it with Michael Jordan, where for 2 weeks they monitored him while he was doing 3-point shots and physically doing it. And then for 2 weeks, all he did was just picture himself doing the 3-point shots. And then they did an experiment on how many 3-pointers he actually made, and it was identical.
Wow.
Identical. And they've done the same with golfing people. So you're right. Why would this not apply to our lives, our day-to-day living, and to our businesses?
Yeah, it makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, and congratulations. That's a great approach.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it's working. So let me ask you, why would somebody hire a business coach?
Well, there's a variety of reasons. Most people, I would say 90 to 95% of all entrepreneurs get stuck at some point in time. There are 4 phases of business. There's startup, and during startup, that's when you just kind of throw everything against the wall and see what sticks, the trial and error phase. Really, that's the time when people need to hire a business coach, because literally I can save and have saved them tens of thousands of dollars so they don't have to experiment. And I can save them a whole lot of time. But entrepreneurs, you know how we are, Barry. We think that we can solve everything. We
do everything.
We'll just plow right through.
Right.
The second phase of business is base, and that's when you can start paying your bills and maybe have a little bit extra. The third phase of business, because the fourth phase is thrive. That's when you can walk away from your business and for 3 months, 6 months, and you come back and the business is still grown.
Right.
So scaling is the third phase. And that's generally when people call me, because in the scale, the growth phase, the real heavy growth phase, that's when the systems and processes are put in place. That's when people are hiring either a VA and or maybe a full-time personal assistant. Maybe they have to increase their staff, and all of that has really deep long-term implications for someone's business. So while I would love to find somebody in the startup phase,
Right.
most of the people hire me during the scaling phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, those are the different phases. Are there different coaching plans, I should say, or do they kind of line up with the phases?
What the question was, what kind of plans?
Do you have different coaching plans available for different types of businesses, or do they line up with the phases that you just mentioned?
It lines up with the phases. And I'll give you an example. Um, I was working with a young woman who she was in startup phase and she wanted to write a blog. And so my first question to her was, well, how many is in your database? And she said 150. And I went, well, let's look at that. Because a blog, unless you hire someone, and somebody in startup doesn't have the money to hire someone, it takes a lot of time. And you want that time to have an ROI, a really high ROI. So for the blog to be effective, you've got to have thousands in your database. You've got to reach thousands of people. So she would have wasted all of this time that she could have been using. And then when I showed her that, she just went, oh, so how should I be spending my time? And I'm saying, okay, until you get to that scaling phase, you're going to spend 50% of your time prospecting, getting in front of prospective clients. So depending on which phase you are in, it dictates which marketing method, it dictates which power partners, it dictates your messaging, what the message you are telling people verbally and in writing. And generally in those first two stages of business, your website is continually changing. That's one of the things I like about the business card, because, well, we'll get to that, but it just came to me. It's like, that is one of the beauties of the business card, because as my website changes, so does my business card.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue.
Oh, good.
Wasn't even planned.
Great. No,
So
it wasn't.
we're going to, before we leave, I'm going to ask you, how people should get a hold of you and that sort of thing, and we'll list it on the screen here.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to ask you to share with us one last bit of wisdom or tip. But before we get to that, I always, since you are a business card holder and you brought it up, I got to ask, how are things going? How do you like your card? What don't you like about your card? And then I have some information for you that I haven't shared with you about the use of your card. So you've been a business card holder for about 5 months now.
Uh-huh.
And so what you mentioned, the ability to change it is one of the things you like. Anything else?
Yes. Well, I do like the fact that I never have to have a printed business card again. And because, well, that's just, to me, that's just money down the tubes. It's just the old fashioned paper business card it's on its way out. People may not realize it, but it's on its way out. And what you're providing, the business card, is the future. And I hope people can see that they can use it right now.
Right.
Like I said, I know the biggest benefit to me is I'm not constantly, but maybe once or twice, once a month, once every other month, I change my website. I'll add a blog, or I'll change a picture, or I'll add a video. And I don't have to do anything except that, because that automatically changes my business card. So everything is automatically up to date.
Right.
I also, now this sounds really funny, but and maybe it doesn't sound funny, I don't know. When I show my business card to people, they're like, whoa, what's that?
Right.
And I kind of go, I feel kind of proud that
Right.
I'm kind of on the forefront of this technology because I am not a tech person at all.
Hmm.
Well, and that reminds me, the other thing that I liked is when we were setting up the business card, you did absolutely everything. You'd ask me a question, I'd answer the question, you go, okay. But you set it up from beginning to end, then you changed it when I said I wanted some changes, and it was just all done. So it was such a painless, I mean, it was nothing for me for you to set it up.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, very good to hear.
it's from the
And
heart.
and the changes and all that stuff. That's kind of the one of the benefits of working with us. I'm, I'm glad to hear that you're happy. I pulled some numbers, as I mentioned, and you have your card's been viewed 280 times, um,
Wow.
and it's been loaded to 140 devices in the past 5 months.
Wow.
And some of those here, let me just pull that screen. I'm not going to share the screen, but some of the locations that Denver, 106 views, Littleton, Aurora, Centennial, Broomfield, Castle Rock, Lakewood, 55, Atlanta, Roselle, and then 55 other cities or locations. So you're all over the place. And your card is being shared, whether you're sharing it or not. It's out there. So, Donna, we appreciate you being a business card holder. And before we
Yes.
wrap it up, any last words of advice for anybody looking for a business coach, what they should, consider?
Uh, there's really only three components to a business coach. There is the coach themselves, there's the content, and then there's accountability. So I would encourage everyone, if you're looking for a business coach, the first thing is you've got to get along with and resonate with the person who's going to be coaching you, and that works both ways. So you've got to spend time with that prospective business coach and see if you resonate with not just them as a person, but what they are saying. And then ask them about their content. What does that look like? What are the topics? What does our time together really look like in the details? And then make sure that they are going to hold you accountable, because that's the tripod of coaching.
Great, great.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
in fact, I want to just accountability is our success insurance policy. That's how important accountability is.
makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how can folks reach you if they're interested in contacting you and learning more about your business, Elevate Your Spark?
Well, they can go to my website, which is elevatespark.com. My email address is donna@elevatespark.com. And I really don't feel comfortable giving out a telephone number.
Okay. Well, we'll list that information here and in the
Yeah.
episode notes, so folks can reach out to you. Folks, reach out to Donna if you're looking for a coach. She's an outstanding individual and great coach. And Donna, we thank you for joining us today. Thanks for being a business card holder, and wish you
Thank
all the
you.
best. As we wrap up here, folks, if you enjoy the show episodes, please click the subscribe button somewhere down there. Check out the notes in the show notes or episode notes for Donna's information as well. And share this episode with others and invite them to subscribe. That's the only way we're going to grow and help each other. We're all small businesses, and it's a difficult time right now for many of us out there. So if we can help each other out, let's do it. So thanks again, Donna.
You're
And thank
welcome.
you
Thank
all.
you, Barry.
You're welcome. And thank you all for watching, and have a great week. Cheers, everyone.